Hey all, it's the 6th of September 2025, and Hurricane Kiko has continued to intensify this afternoon, and it remains a powerful Category 4 major hurricane. The hurricane's eye is now completely surrounded by a solid ring of very cold cloud tops, a structure often seen in annular hurricanes, which can maintain strength longer than usual. Annular hurricanes are relatively rare. They stand out because of their clean, symmetric appearance, a large circular eye surrounded by a thick, uniform ring of convection, and they often lack the spiral rain bands you see in most hurricanes. This bullseye structure makes them visually striking on satellite imagery, and it also tends to make them more resistant to the environment around them, allowing them to hold their strength longer, even when conditions like cooler waters or modest wind shear would normally weaken a storm. With current estimates now putting Kiko's maximum sustained winds near 120 knots, that's about 140 miles per hour, and makes it a Category 4 major hurricane. Let's take a gander back at the last few days. Over the past several days, Kiko's intensity has been fluctuating. According to the SIMS ADT estimates here, the storm actually peaked early on 4th of September UTC time. Since then, it's gone through a kind of daily rhythm, weakening during much of the day, then re-intensifying late in the UTC day. But because of the time difference, these cycles appear locally as early morning surges in strength. You can watch this in the infrared loop. You can see Kiko pulsing with that daily rhythm, cloud tops cooling, and the storm expanding late in the UTC day, then easing back as the sun climbs higher. Kiko is moving west-northwest at about 10 knots, guided along the edge of a large subtropical ridge. It will soon be passing into the central Pacific Basin. From up to this point, it has been in the eastern Pacific Basin, so this will shift the forecast to be from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, which is based in Honolulu. Let's take a look at the Hurricane Wharf storm following high resolution simulation. This animation will follow the storm center. You can see at the start you've got two triangles and some lines. It looks like it's initializing it at 120 knots or maybe even higher. Definitely a tight annular circulation in the model. As we go forward, you'll see it somewhat maintaining its hurricane strength right up until it reaches there, which is 151 west. Now from here, you'll see just in the bottom left the coastline of the Big Island of Hawaii. So you can see it's actually quite some distance away, with even the tropical storm force winds are a long way from the islands. So in this model simulation, very little impact on Hawaii aside from high surf. Looking at a selection of the tracks from the other models, you can see that there are a few that do take the storm into the islands. However, there is a pretty strong agreement amongst the majority of the models taking the storm to the north. The Hurricane Wharf we looked at is in the black, so it follows roughly actually in the middle of the consensus track. So there's reasonable confidence that this storm, pretty high confidence that this storm will miss Hawaii to the north. On top of that, in this region, I'm going to be interested to see if we see any variations in track due to remote influence from the severely high terrain of the Big Island and Maui. The Big Island rises in huge wide volcanoes to over 4,000 meters elevation, and Haleakala on Maui is over 3,000 meters. These provide massive blocks to the lower tropospheric flow, which can influence hurricane track. The official forecast keeps Kiko on a track north of Hawaii. It looks as though it'll be far enough away from the Big Island such that the Big Island won't have a significant influence, but if it shifts closer to the Big Island, we could see some interaction with the island terrain, particularly things like a slowing in track and possibly a deviation to the north if it's passing on the north side of the island. Here are the sea surface temperatures for the 5th of September. That data has come in. We can see that the storm has been intensifying over the warm waters over this region, which are around 27 to 28 Celsius. But as it tracks north of Hawaii to the east and then to the north, these temperatures are dipping just below 26, in the high 25 to 26. So it's right on the threshold of what is typically associated with hurricanes. But however, it does warm up as we go further to the north of Hawaii. Nonetheless, I think at this point, wind shear is expected to further weaken the storm. For now, though, Kiko should remain a major hurricane through the next 12 to 24 hours, maybe longer. Its annular structure may help it resist the weakening despite the unfavorable environment it's entering, including dry air aloft and slightly cooler SSTs. But by the late weekend into next week, cooler waters, drier mid-level air, and stronger wind shear are expected to cause weakening of the storm. Overall, Kiko could approach the Hawaiian Islands early to mid next week, passing north while the exact impacts remain uncertain. Heavy rain and strong winds are possible, but current forecast indicates that should be to the north. But residents should continue monitoring forecasts, of course, and there will definitely be swells from Kiko for the surfers, and forecasts to reach the Big Island and Maui as early as Sunday, building into early next week. These swells could produce dangerous high surf and life-threatening rip currents along the east-facing shores. So there you have it, folks, a really stunning annular hurricane approaching Hawaii from the east. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe if you haven't. For this channel, to get the latest videos, don't forget to enable all notifications.